Okay, let's jump right in. We hear a ton about boomers and millennials, right? But there's this entire generation caught right in the middle, and they're facing some seriously intense financial pressure. Today, we're talking about Generation X and the incredible high wire financial act they have to pull off every single day. And there's a name for this. It's called the sandwich generation. And honestly, it's the perfect description. I mean, they are literally sandwiched. On one side, you have the huge financial needs of their kids, and on the other, their aging parents. It's a squeeze from both directions. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? How did this so-called forgotten generation end up in what might be the tightest financial squeeze we've seen in decades? Well, let's break it all down. So first up, let's properly meet Generation X. We're talking about anyone born between 1965 and 1980. They're often called the forgotten middle child of generations, stuck between two huge, very loud groups. But here's the thing, forgotten does not mean unimportant. Not even a little bit. Just look at this number, $23 trillion. That's the buying power Gen X is on track to have by 2035. They are a quiet but absolutely massive economic engine. So believe me, when they feel a financial pinch, the whole economy feels it too. And that pinch is very, very real. I mean, despite all that spending power, a Mather Institute survey found that a whopping 43% of Gen Xers say money is a major source of their stress. And that's the real story here. Massive economic power on one hand and crushing personal anxiety on the other. Okay, so let's get into the why. Where is all this anxiety coming from? We're calling it the three-way squeeze. And it really is just this relentless, constant barrage of costs that, for the most part, you just can't say no to. The first point of pressure, and it is a big one, is the kids. I mean, raising children in today's world is a financial marathon, not a sprint. And it starts right out of the gate. Check this out, over $17,000. That's the average annual cost just for infant daycare. Think about that. In a lot of states, that's more than a year of public college tuition. And it's just the very beginning. Oh yeah, it goes way beyond just childcare. Gen Xers are trying to save up for their kids' college. But get this, a lot of them are still paying off their own student loans. It's this crazy double whammy. Then you throw in an extra $700 or so per kid on sports and activities, and you can see how this pressure just keeps piling up. Okay, so that's one side of the sandwich. Now let's talk about the other side, taking care of their aging parents. And the costs here are just, wow, they're staggering. There really are no cheap options. You're looking at maybe $6,000 a month for in-home care, and that can jump to $9,000 a month or even more for an assisted living facility. These are the kinds of expenses that can wipe out a lifetime of savings in no time. And, it's not just about the money. The human cost is huge. Nearly a third of all family caregivers in the country are from Gen X. And for a heartbreaking 16% of them, it becomes too much, and they actually have to quit their jobs just to provide that care. I mean, that just torpedoes their own income and career. All right, so you've got the kids, you have the parents, and then the third wall of this financial vice starts closing in, the simple cost of keeping a roof over everybody's head. And the key thing to see here isn't just the number, it's what it represents. That's the average monthly mortgage for a Gen Xer. And here's the kicker, it's the highest of any generation, higher than boomers, higher than millennials. They're carrying the heaviest load when it comes to housing costs, period. So, when you're constantly bleeding cash for your kids, your parents, and your house, something has to give. And what gives? Well, inevitably, it's your own future. This relentless pressure is putting their retirement security in real, serious danger. More than half, 54% of Gen Xers actually believe they are going to outlive their retirement savings. Just pause and think about that for a second. The majority of an entire generation is working through their prime earning years, absolutely terrified that it's still not going to be enough. And that fear, it has real consequences. Remember, a lot of Gen Xers started their careers during some major recessions. So as this research from Schroders points out, that experience made them really wary of risk. They're so afraid of losing money that many just hold on to cash instead of investing it, which means that they're likely missing out on the market growth they really need. So what do? To cover all these immediate costs for everyone else, they are turning to debt. The data from Experian couldn't be clearer. Gen X is carrying way more debt than other generations. It's a direct result of being stuck in the middle of that sandwich.
Okay, so the situation is definitely tough. There's no sugarcoating it. But that's not where the story has to end. The big question now is what can be done? Can smart financial planning actually make a dent in all this pressure?
While the experts seem to point to a few key moves, it starts with getting really serious and strategic about budgeting and saving. It means taking advantage of every single retirement contribution you can, especially things like a 401k match. And this one is crucial. It means being proactive and looking into long-term care insurance for parents before there's a crisis to help handle those massive costs down the road. And that kind of leaves us with this one big final thought. These individual strategies are so important, but they're happening inside a much bigger economic picture. With the cost of care and housing just continuing to climb, you have to ask, what is it really going to take? Not just for individuals, but for all of us, to make sure the sandwich generation can finally secure its own future.